My name Victor Sim. Chinese name Xie Fai. I come from Hong Kong. I've been here 41 years. That was then 1975. The opportunity to study in university was very limited in Hong Kong. So coming over here gave me a better chance to study in university. I came on my own, but I have had already two sisters who live in this country. One settled down here and the other one was studying. I stayed with my sister, she was in Ashford, um, Middlesex, I believe. So I first came here in 1975. I was studying in Ware College in Hertfordshire, doing O levels. I then went to study my A levels in London, East Ham College. In university, I studied medicine in Cardiff University in 1979. I studied medicine, so I work as a doctor in around Cardiff ever since 1984. And I'm currently working at London Hospital as a consultant physician. Yeah, it was quite difficult for a relatively young person at the time, and language was mainly the problem. Even though I used English in Hong Kong, but not to the standards as in here. And culturally it was a shock to me too. It was so quiet, particularly Sunday. And so yeah, and I was missing home quite a lot. Didn't have much choice really. I suppose I just spent all my time studying and try to forget anything else. At that time I also need to work to support myself financially. So between working and studying, that will occupy most of my time. I suppose that was one of the way I deal with the difficulties I was facing at the time. Not really, only friends in a very superficial manner for the local friends, perhaps language, perhaps cultural difference. So mostly I make friends with Chinese people from Hong Kong. That was certainly true in my O-level and A-levels time. In university, and I was more used to this environment, and I began to make more friends with local people. Cardiff is a nice city, and I grew to like Cardiff. Nice city, not too big, not too small, and and I could travel to a countryside quite easily, half an hour car journey. And I suppose I have a church in Cardiff, and many of my good friends are in the same church. That probably a quite important reason why I stay in Cardiff. And job-wise, I find Welsh people are very friendly. I think it's a privilege to be able to work and serve the local people in Cardiff. I have involved in voting practically every time when I have the opportunity to do so, but I have not participated myself into any political activities. I did consider to go back to Hong Kong, and indeed I went back twice. I worked there for 6 months, and on the other occasion I went back for interviews. But after some consideration, I just feel overall, having been here for so many years, UK as a whole suit me and my family better than in Hong Kong. I think it's UK has become busier as a country, and so and I, there is there's so much development in Cardiff. I guess the main difference is I feel more like home to me now, UK, and I feel that there are more opportunities for overseas people in the last decade compared with the time when I first came over here, and and the local people are more aware of the different ethnic groups, and I think people from different countries are in general become more acceptable, and ethnic minorities have become more integrated into the local societies. Uh, yes, yes, particularly those who are in need, the new immigrants who have language problems, and so they, with the advantage of the language, I or perhaps someone like me could be a help to some of the new immigrants. And because we still share many of the cultures, so it is nice in a way uh, to have connection with the local Chinese people. This said, obviously it's also important to engage into the local local society, and to be able to get to participate in different local functions and activities. I would say you are much better off than my time, because Chinese people were so few and far in between, and people still look at us as kind of outsiders. I think this generation of Chinese are much more accepted into the mainstream society, and there are more opportunities for you guys too.